It's such a pleasure and honor to be here. Thank you so much for this. I tell you, and Pundit, Pundit Baldath mentioned the human family. It struck a chord with me because that's how I always look at people. We're one big family. I come from the Jewish faith tradition. And we have in our holy book called the Tanakh, a particular section called the Torah, the story of the flood, how the flood took place, right? And in that story, it explains, well, there's a lot to the story, so let me get to the point. The point of the story is that one family emerged from a deluge that destroyed all the other people of the planet, of the earth. And from this one family emerged the following, the rest of humanity. And so, according to that story, we are one big family. Now, I have people who say to me sometimes, but Stephen, come on, you're educated. Do you really believe that story? Like, do you think that's really how people are here? Okay, well, I say, okay, so if you don't like that story, I got another one for you. Okay, so, and this is true. A group of scientists got together in a section of Africa called the Horn. These were, these were biologists, these were paleontologists, these were geneticists, and when they got together and they started digging around in the ground and they looked at their findings, they realized something. They said, human beings come from this place. And particularly, one woman is the mother that we can find of everyone on the planet. So actually, whether you believe the story of Noah and the ark, and that being Noah's wife being the mother of everyone on the planet, or you believe the geneticists and the paleontologists and the biologists and these people, either way, you can't get away from it. We're just one big happy family, supposedly happy. Because here's the thing, brothers and sisters never argue, right? They never fight, they never disagree, right? Wrong. They do all the time. As a father, I can tell you for a fact, they do all the time. But you know something? At the end of the day, they lay down in the bed and they go to sleep on a full stomach, right? Under one roof as a family. And that's the part we have to get to. As human beings, that's the part we have to get to. We have to find a way to peace. I think something just happened, was it yesterday in New York, where someone went into a grocery store and killed a bunch of people. We're seeing these things, we're seeing it in different parts of the world. We're seeing it in Ukraine, right? We're seeing it in, and that's a much larger scale. We're seeing it in parts of Africa. We're seeing it in parts of, right now, Sri Lanka is in the news for very similar things. And it's like, well, when are we ever going to get the clue, you know? So what Ted just mentioned about the Holocaust, Shoah, where, people just seem to have this idea that the only way to settle our differences is to harm enough people that people will then see that I'm right. Does that make any sense? If I hurt enough people, you'll know I'm right. No, I know you're wrong. And I know that the more people you hurt, the more wrong you are. So, this is where I feel so honored to be here, because when we had a prayer for peace gathering at a masjid here, and is it considered Lake Worth? It's Lantana, right? Yeah, Lantana. So I called up Pundit Maharaj, and I said, would you like to attend and come and be a part of this? He gave me a one-word answer, yes. He didn't say, well, I'll think about it. I'll get back to you. I'll have my secretary call you. Right? He said, yes. Because this is where this man's heart is. You see? He didn't hesitate. And then when I called him again, and I said, some members of the interfaith community would like to come and attend your worship service on Sunday morning. He gave me a longer answer then. He said, it would be my honor to have you. These are the types of people we need in our lives, in our cities, in our states, in our world. And, you know, I just have to say, I'm just so happy to know him. I'm so happy to know Ted and the members of the interfaith community. This is where we're going if we continue this momentum. This is where the world is headed. You know, if you really stop and look, you start to see these types of interfaith gatherings are popping up all over the country. I don't know about the world, but I know about the country a little bit, and it's happening. So when I see someone, when I meet someone, like my distinguished brother right here, I cannot help but to be drawn to him. Now, in the ancient Jewish tradition, we have a custom where when you meet someone who is doing good instead of bad, when you come across someone who is building up instead of tearing down, what you do is you pronounce a blessing upon them so that they can continue upon their way, even if you never see them again, if you met them just that one time. And so, following that tradition, I'd like to do the same right now. I'd like to pronounce a blessing upon this wonderful man, Brother Maharaj, upon this beautiful place, which I struggle with the pronunciation of the temple, I'm sorry.
That's all right, Steve.
And upon you, wonderful Hindu people, I pronounce a blessing upon you, that the God of heaven may open his arms and his skies, and every time he does so, the rainbow of heaven of life will shine its colors down upon you and bless you in whatever way you need that blessing to manifest. And I ask this blessing in the name of the God of heaven. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.